What's the recipe for surprising the kids, treating yourself, and ditching dish duty? You're looking at it. Order your Pizza Hut faves like original pan, original stuffed crust, and more at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another season of Williamstown Braves football. It all begins with the Coaches Show tonight, and we at BFA Sports proud to bring you season number 3 of the Williamstown Braves high school football season, which begins on Friday right here with a home contest. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you a coach who is back after being an assistant. And in the third year of us on BFA Sports, we have 3 different head coaches. I want to introduce Tom Kelly. Tom, welcome to the broadcast.
Thanks for having me.
More importantly,
Thanks.
Welcome to the team.
Thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'll tell you one thing that we know for a fact. He is Williamstown football. He eats and breathes it. And I want to go back to 2003. You first get a job as a teacher at Williamstown, and what's the first thing you do?
Well, I wanted to, get involved with coaching. That was one of my things as I was going, to college for teaching. I always wanted to be a coach. So when I was hired, I was talking to the athletic director at the time, asking about the football program, and he led me to Coach Fusatola. So I sent Coach Fusatola an email, and he said, "Well, meet me at the field house." That was the response. I didn't know where the field house was. I had no idea. I was there for like 3 days. So I'm in the athletic director's office, and he goes, "Oh, there he is right now in the hallway." So I run out, and I open up the door, and I said, Coach, my name's Tom Kelly. I sent you that email. I want to help out. He's shaking my hand, and he's just, he's got that look. And he goes, "Tom Kelly, your father played left guard for me, 1979, right? Left guard because he was left-handed?" So from that moment on, that's how Frank entered my life, and it's a memorable one,
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about 2 state championships,
Yeah.
and 18 years later, with one stop you made last year.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you do that?
I wanted to get out of the freshman program, to be honest. I had a talk with Frank. It wasn't an easy talk, but I wanted a little more varsity experience. And, looking at it now, I have taken some things that Chris does at Absegami with his experience, at Pleasantville and all, one of my dearest friends. And I've taken some of the stuff that he's done and brought it to the program. And I think it helps out with the preparation aspect of the program. But when it comes to the culture and everything else that Williamstown stands for, that's set. I'm not reinventing the wheel there. You know what I mean?
He's talking about Chris Sacco, who he took an assistant job. Chris is the head coach at Absegami, and if you're familiar with the name Sacco, then obviously you know where his bloodlines come from as well. But now here you are. You finished last year. They finished. Williamstown did 6-2. Mm-hmm. To many in this area, that would not be a success because there was no state championship. There was no deep run in the playoffs. But last year was an anomaly all to itself, and still a 6-2 record. You have some things to build on. Let's start with that.
Yeah, I mean, we graduate a lot of players. We graduate a lot of players. We graduate our quarterback. We graduate our entire offensive line. Some guys in the skill positions on offense. Our D-line's experienced. We got Turner at linebacker, but we have new faces at linebacker, new faces in the secondary besides Key. So we have a young and we can say inexperienced at the varsity level football team. So, I don't look at it as, it's not holes. It's more of...
We didn't get to those yet, but go ahead.
Okay, do we edit that out?
No, that's fine. We don't edit here, by the way, just so you know. Just so you know, this is it. No edits. One take and that's it.
Okay, good. Because I know we were talking before about holes. There's no holes to fill. It's just getting those guys who have the inexperience ready to play football at a Group 5 level,
Yeah, and I think you hit it right on the head, too, because Group 5 is obviously the the creme de la creme, if you will, because it's where obviously the student population is the most, and then you have all that going for you. So you have your pick of more athletes. Is that probably pretty much the reason why?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
All right. So when we come back, we're going to talk to more of Coach Tom Kelly. We're also going to meet some of the captains of this Brave season, which is exclusively sponsored this year by Pizza Hut.
What's the recipe for surprising the kids, treating yourself, and ditching dish duty? You're looking at it. Order your Pizza Hut faves like original pan, original stuffed crust, and more at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Welcome back here to Pizza Hut in Glassboro. I'm Chris Lozzi with BFA Sports, and our third season that we begin on Friday night as the Braves take the field once again. And you've got yourselves an interesting dynamic. We talked about how you're not starting from scratch, but let's face it, you graduated a lot. You feel that you have the pipeline is still filled.
Absolutely.
You're bringing them in. So let's start with your matchup tomorrow night, because we're taping on a Thursday. So tomorrow night at home. Who do you got? What are you looking for?
Who do I got? I got the Braves. That's, hands down. We got the Braves. We are
Who's
ready.
coming in?
Oh, Rancocas Valley.
RV's coming in.
Oh, okay. I thought you said that.
No, we're good. Go ahead.
Yeah,
but seriously, I mean, you're talking about a team that comes in. They are very, very talented each year as well. I mean, we did a playoff game there. Coffee and I, about maybe 6 years ago, we did a playoff game there. It was 27 degrees. It was the game against Millville, if you remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Every year they seem to be in it.
They have athletes, yeah. I mean, they have athletes. I know their quarterback transferred. He went to Camden Catholic, but they got a kid up there. He's a good athlete. He's got a good arm. They have some speed. They have some size on the line. So they're always a dangerous team. They're always a dangerous team for sure.
Focus on you guys now. We talked off camera that you believe that you're going to be running the ball a lot more. So tell us about what we're going to see offensively from the Braves, especially at the quarterback position.
You talk about the Williamstown culture and the pipeline. That's what's always been the mentality. Run the ball. So that's not going anywhere. We're going to establish the run, and then we have plays to protect the run. But we're going at them. No secret.
Familiar name in the Williamstown area. Zerby is our starting quarterback this year. Tell us about Zach.
Yeah. Zach's a great kid, tremendous athlete. His brother was an outstanding pitcher for Williamstown. The inexperience, getting the calls down, understanding the speed of the game and consistency. But as a sophomore, he's getting better every single practice, and that's all you can ask for, every practice.
And over their shoulder on the cameraman, we've got a couple captains who are going to meet a little later on, and one of them wears number 5, and he is going to be the big key for you this year. I'm talking about Turner Inge.
Yeah, he's not a bad ball player. Last time I checked. He's
comes from good stock.
Not a bad ball player. Just got a full ride to Villanova, and it's the first time that I've ever heard a school ask a player, what side of the ball do you want to play on?
Wow.
So they gave him the option to play running back and linebacker. Just puts in all the hard work, does everything right, on and off the field, does everything right, comes from a tremendous family, and it shows. It shows.
Speaking of the tremendous family, Mr. Inge, Wade Inge Sr., is he still
on the coaching
staff?
He's all right. I like Mrs. Inge more.
Is he still on the coach? Well, wait, we'll talk about this in a second. He's still on the staff?
Yep. Yeah, this is his last ride.
Yeah?
This is his last ride. So, I talked to Mrs. Inge not that long ago. Ever since they got together, it's been nothing but football. Him at Maryland, and then the kids growing and coaching. So I think it's time, and good for them. I'm happy for both of them. We're going to miss them tremendously after this year. But, yeah, this is Wade's last go-around.
And he's going to be on both sides of the ball for sure this year.
Who's that? Turner? Come on now.
You hear that, 5?
Come on. He's not getting off the field.
You're not getting off the field this year, apparently. No. All right. You'll come out. You'll get your chance, TV star, in a minute. Okay. So run. A lot more than in the past, right? Defense. Your new coordinator.
Yeah.
Is?
Ray Tralley. So he was a defensive coordinator for Cherry Hill East for a long time. He was with us in 2019 helping out Coach Seidenberg. He got a defensive coordinator position at Glassboro last year. The little time that he spent with us, I liked his approach. I saw he was very knowledgeable on that side of the ball. And I'm not going to lie, the thing that made me put in for the job for the head coach is when I talked to Mike Seidenberg and he said that he was going to stay on in some capacity. Once I got off the phone with him, I turned right to my wife and I said, okay, I'm going to put in for it. So with Ray's knowledge of the stack and moving guys around and bringing pressure and Mike's knowledge of defense, period, but especially in the coverage game, the passing game, he has a mind like no other. So I'm very fortunate to have Mike still on board too. But Ray's doing a very good job so far.
You mentioned Mike. What's his role now at the staff?
He mentoring Ray a little bit. He's upstairs for us.
Okay.
So, yeah.
He's going to be near us.
So I got Mike and I got Pat upstairs. I mean, how can you beat those eyes? All that experience and coaching, to help us out with what's going on the field. So, Mike's always there. I call him. He's always on call. His boys are getting a little older. He wants to spend a little more time with his boys, but he can't separate himself completely from the program. So, I'm very fortunate that he is still willing to be a part of the program in some fashion.
Outstanding D coordinator, pitches shutout after shutout each night.
The best around.
Yeah.
No one better.
So you mentioned Pat. Now, Pat Gallagher, who was last year's head coach and, of course, the offensive coordinator during the state championship runs, he's still here. He's going to be upside. So is he going to take the same role as a mentor to your new OC?
Yeah, exactly.
And your new OC is?
Exactly. So it's Nick Seidenberg. Okay. It's Mike's younger brother, and we coached at the freshman level together for several years. I mean, you did the coaches show with us when it was Nick and I as the freshman coaches.
I also refereed, and he only yelled at me twice.
Who's that? Nick, not me, right?
That was Nick. No, you were good.
I know. Always. I learned that from Frank.
We go back.
I learned my sideline conduct from Fuse,
Yeah.
But yeah, Nick's going to call the offense. Pat's on a full-time role. He's coaching the running backs, but he's mentoring Nick. That's a lot to ask someone to come in to be an offensive coordinator, Group 5. There's a lot of moving parts to being an offensive coordinator.
Oh, sure.
It is very challenging. So Pat's playing, he's got a couple hats on, but once again, it allows, it gives him a little more free time to go see his kids and spend a little more time with the family. At that time that maybe he hasn't had before. So I wanted to respect, his wishes when I talked to him.
I mean, I think the fact, though, that you're able to keep a little bit of the old and then bring in the new speaks well not only to the program but also to yourself. I mean, let's start with the first call you got from Athletic Director Dean Insana, and then from there, immediately, you were burning the phones and getting your staff together, right?
Yes. Yeah, right away. I was getting the staff together when I put in for it, and it was a very long interview process, and rightfully so. I understand why.
So you interviewed coordinators on the chance you may get the head job.
I knew the staff.
Okay.
Because this wasn't something that I thought of overnight, because I know the commitment, and I know what it takes to run this program successfully, being around Coach Fusatola hip to hip, not just on the field, off the field. I really prided myself on learning from him the whole thing. So the big conversation was with my wife. So once she wasn't happy that I went to Absegami, she thought just because I was ingrained here, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But she wanted me to go for it all along. I already had the staff in mind. 90% of the staff I had already in mind. So I said, listen, it could be a long ways away, but are you willing to, be the coordinator? Are you willing to, Wade, you still staying on board? So, I made those calls, long before I heard of the job.
And everyone said yes.
Everyone said yes.
Nick Core?
Nick Core. Still at the freshman level. Yeah, still at the freshman level. But he's also taken on a mentor role as well. We got a new coach down there, Coach Nodis. They just won tonight, 30-0.
There you go.
It's a great start for the freshman program. And hopefully, maybe next year, Core can come up to the varsity level. So he's also kind of wearing two hats, helping out at the varsity level as well.
I'm sure the process was a lot of candidates, but you were the odds-on favorite, truth be told, and there was no surprise you were going to get this. With the background that you bring, I mean, you're talking about from 2003, you were part of the staff in some capacity, but when you were elevated
so 2015 is when I started.
Really?
Teaching.
Yeah.
Yes, when I started with Williamstown.
Yeah.
So that's when I started with them.
But what I'm saying is, when you got 2015, but when you did get here, immediately you were elevated as a sub-varsity head coach at some point, so they knew that you had that in you.
Yeah, I mean, look, when Coach Fusatola calls you and asks you to be, on the staff, to run, let's say, the freshman program, I took that as an honor.
Sure.
And, if I wasn't at that level and understood the administrative duties that a head coach, even though it was, freshmen, lower, smaller numbers, I would have never been able to take on this job. If I was just a position coach, I would have got knocked right on my rear end coming in as a head coach. So, I mean, absolutely. Anytime Coach Fuse gives you the nod, you feel good about yourself. It doesn't happen too much.
With Frank?
Well, yeah. So when it does,
watching,
Yeah, I know. So when it does, it feels good.
All right. We'll be back with more of the Coaches Show here on BFA Sports at Pizza Hut. Williamstown Braves football is back, ladies and gentlemen, for season number 3. We're going to meet the captains that are here next.
What's the recipe for surprising the kids, treating yourself, and ditching dish duty? You're looking at it. Order your Pizza Hut faves like original pan, original stuffed crust, and more at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
And welcome back to BFA Sports coverage of the Coaches Show. We're going to do this each week, by the way, Tom Kelly, here at Pizza Hut, the exclusive sponsor of Williamstown football. How does it feel to have a television contract, a Coaches Show, and oh, by the way, you're the head coach of the high school team?
Yeah. I like to call, Brian Cope a lot on that one and tell him and remind him, thank you very much for, all the, no, it's great. Listen, it's top notch. It's a lot, it's a lot. I mean, I know from, like I said, being around in the program and, but when you're actually sitting in the seat and you're taking on stuff from all different angles and, doing this stuff on top of it, because it's the right thing to do, because we're trying to promote our program. We're trying to promote our kids,
By the way, I made you a little older. 2003 is when you graduated high school.
Yes.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, come on in. We want to bring in two of the captains that I think that you would agree would be the keys to this season by far.
Two of the best.
So let's do this. Let's go over here. Watch your head. All right.
You want them on one side?
Yeah, let's do that. Get on the other side. Key with Coach. All right. What's up, Bob? Number 5 in your book, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1 in your heart. Turner Inch, everybody. Hey, you heard what Coach said, right? So, why should we be excited this year for you guys?
One thing, we're a very young and inexperienced team, but we have a lot of potential coming up. We haven't really had a big season like we could with COVID in the past, so the team is hungry. We haven't had that atmosphere, that Williamstown atmosphere with all the fans there, everyone coming back. We have the student section, the chop house, and just to have that experience, the whole team's hungry and ready to play for our town.
Well, let me ask you a question. So, truth be told, first of all, congratulations. I already told Mom and Dad, I thought when you first had it posted, Villanova, I mean, that is unheard of where they give you a choice. What's your choice?
I got you. So I chose to play linebacker out of running back and linebacker. I just feel like that's where I can make most plays on the field and just be able to be me on the field.
And you can hit people.
Yeah, for sure. Hit rather than be hit.
Well said. So, look, you're going to be looked upon now to do something that another Inch did in front of you. Any challenge to that at all?
No. I mean, obviously I know the expectations that comes with my last name and just the people before me, like my brother a few years ago. I remember him being in the same exact situation his senior year, big expectations in front of him, and I'm really looking forward to make my own path and show the world what I can do.
By the way, Coffee Jones sends his best.
Gosh.
He said he's got you.
I love Coffee. That's my guy.
I thought I was your guy. Right. 6-2 last year, but as I said to Coach earlier, a lot of people think that wasn't that much of a success. No state championship.
Yeah, obviously we weren't happy with that. Every year, we go out there and expect to go out there and compete for a state championship. That's just our expectations of this program, and it's the same expectations as this year, state championship.
State championship. By the way, just so you know, next year there's going to be the official
full state champion.
Full state champion, and that's going to be, I think, all at MetLife. I think they've already ironed all that out, right, Mr. Cope? I think they did. All right. Did you change your number? No, I'm just kidding. Get Keyshawn. They affectionately call him Key, baby. Go ahead. Keyshawn Watkins, let me tell you something, my friend. You are stepping into a role as a co-captain, is that fair to say, of the likes that when you played behind guys such as, Aaron, Julian, and those guys. What does that mean to you?
It's very honorable. I feel like, I don't.
Just come right out with it, babe. I mean, let me tell you something. They're going to be relying on you and you this year. You know that, right? How are you going to lead in that locker room?
It just comes out of me. Sometimes it comes out of me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. What are you looking forward to this year?
State championship, like you said.
All right. What are we going to see on the field from you this year?
A lot of things. I play a lot of roles on the offense and defense side of the ball.
Let's start with offense.
They got me a receiver, and I'm backup quarterback right now, Reserve B.
Okay. Have you been working well with Zach in the workouts in the off season? Describe his fastball.
Fastball?
Did he get it there?
Yeah, he get it there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And on the defensive side, you're going to be in the secondary?
Yeah, safety.
Okay. What do you like about that?
I feel like it's just easier to read their receivers and everything. Just you can see everything on the field, so it's there right in front of my face. It's easier for me to react to the ball when it's in the air and all that.
Yeah. I want to turn to 5 a second. All right. So Coach says it's going to be a little different of a philosophy this year. Okay. First of all, you're locked in, you're committed, all those good things. You're going to be facing guys that are going to come in and want exactly what you have. Do you consider that something of a challenge?
No, to be honest, I've been in that situation before. In previous years, you always see guys that you see they have big offers or they are committed to some school. You think that I want that, and it's always that kind of chip on your shoulder to go. And I'm looking forward to seeing that and seeing competition and to prove to people why I have what I have.
Another thing, this team comes in ranked 24th in South Jersey in a preseason poll. I mean, that does not sit well with anybody, I'm sure, at this table. How are you going to change their minds?
It's been our mindset since day one, to rise above the doubt. In our mind, we don't have nothing to prove to no one. It's just at a certain point of time when you hear a lot of talking, eventually you got to shut them up, and that's what we plan to do.
Some tough words there, Coach. What do you think of your boys here?
I back them 100%. We go to war together. That's how it's going to be all season.
We'll be right back and wrap this one up here from Pizza Hut. BFA Sports coverage of Williamstown Braves football. Each and every week we have our coaches show and then the ball game on the weekend. We'll see you in a bit.
Order your Pizza Hut faves like original pan, original stuffed crust, and more at pizzahut.com. What's the recipe for surprising the kids, treating yourself, and ditching dish duty? You're looking at it. Order your Pizza Hut faves like original pan, original stuffed crust, and more at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
All right. I hope we can edit that out, right? See that light that was banging right there? Welcome back to the Coaches Show. Actually, we're going to call it the Tom Kelly Show. I think if you're okay with that, that's what we're going to do. We're going to call it the Tom Kelly Show, live at Pizza Hut each and every week, right here on BFA Sports. We'll be bringing you pre-game coverage of the game that's coming up in the week. So, all right, Rancocas Valley, we talked a little bit about that. But now you got a little fire under your belly there when I told you what your ranking was in the preseason.
We've had a fire in our belly since March. March. Because we hear what people have been saying. We're letting it build. We're working hard. Tomorrow night is when we do the talking. It's going to be with our pads.
You got a lot of Coach Fusatolo in you, especially in that delivery right there.
Wow. Wow, it's true.
Yeah.
We know where people have us, right? We've known that since March. So.
Yeah. A lot of challenges this year too. I mean, some things that we can't talk about that kind of hurt the program in the off season, just like delayed it a little bit, and other things. But you guys seem to rise above it every year. What makes this year going to be like 19?
These kids have been resilient since COVID hit. Even with the school aspect of things, we're in school, we're out of school, remote learning, this, that. And then you take it to the football field, and it's the same thing. You know, we've had to make adjustments after adjustments after adjustments. I think now that we've had the 18 months or whatever it's been under our belt with COVID, everyone kind of knows the routine, right? We've been able to bounce back. We've been as much consistency as possible with everything that's been going on. We have that look in our eye, you know, because we know how some people are perceiving this year, you know, how they're looking at us. So
When you say some people, you're referring to the local media opponents.
Local media, community members, people who were riding the bus when it was all good for the past 3 years, and now they think that bus has stopped for some reason, and that's not the case.
Mr. Five, give me an unsung hero this year.
Unsung hero for this team. In my eyes, if I had to say anyone, the first person that comes to mind is my boy, Chad Davis. He's been a guy that has been working since his sophomore year. He's got time in that year, 2019, when we went all the way to Rutgers. He's been a guy that's been played for us last year as well. He kind of does his dues. He sits back when he last year and the previous years when he had to sit behind guys like Aaron Lewis, David Fuller Williams, stuff like that, Donovan. But now he knows it's his time to shine, and I'm looking forward to see him step into a bigger role on both offense and defense.
Up front.
Yes.
Give me an unsung hero.
I gotta go with a young guy actually, Dom, our center. So he's a very hard worker. He competes, you know. That's the only thing I gotta say for him. He's just a hard worker. He's dedicated.
You guys are aware that because of the graduation, and I'm not going to say holes because Coach is going to get yelled at me, but because of graduation, the replacements that have come in, the new members, the new breed, right? Most of that is on both sides of the ball up front. You do know that.
Yes. And like every year, you know, we get a little bit more every year. There's always doubt. But I feel like this year's just a little bit extra doubt because every year we come back, you say, oh, you're missing this guy and this guy. Who's going to replace him? And each and every year we come back, we rebound, and we come back even better. So that's what we plan to do this year. We're going to come back, put on a show tomorrow night, and just show everyone that we're back and better.
How about you, my friend? Same question.
You repeat that.
Okay. So, you know, after graduation, a lot of new faces, right? Who are you going to count on? Other than Dom.
Team.
Yeah,
Team.
Yeah.
That's something I gotta say.
The message Coach Kelly's putting out to you is what?
Rather about the doubt. You know, basically, yeah. That's what it is.
He's going to do it on the field, my friends.
Yeah,
You're going to do it on the field, Dave.
Yeah.
Huh? That's all right.
Look for number 7 tomorrow night. He'll be flying around.
He's going to do it on
Yeah, he'll be flying around.
These two are not going to see the bench, I imagine, right?
Nope.
All
They
right.
won't be next to me, that's for sure.
Yeah. That would be the penalty box, just so you know. We'll come back and we'll wrap it up here on BFA on our first Coach's Corner show, exclusively sponsored by Pizza Hut.
What's the recipe for surprising the kids, treating yourself, and ditching dish duty? You're looking at it. Order your Pizza Hut faves like original pan, original stuffed crust, and more at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Order your Pizza Hut faves like original pan, original stuffed crust, and more at pizzahut.com.
Welcome back to Pizza Hut and the Tom Kelly Show, right? New head coach of Williamstown Braves. Has been with the program now going on your 6th season. And first year as head coach, obviously, we talked to the kids, the captains that you believe are going to be the backbone of the team this year, without question, right?
Without question. Absolutely.
These kids are looking up and say, like I said to Turner, I mean, he's going to Villanova, but how about all the kids that went through the program and what they're doing now and how they're able to keep that tradition going?
I mean, we have stressed, the importance of academics, along with the football component. Currently we have 18 players in college, 7 from last year. So we have had a great relationship, and that's Coach Fusatola.
One in the NFL too, by the way, just saying.
One in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's Coach Fusatola, establishing those relationships, building the culture, and we're going to continue it. We're going to continue to put kids into college, put them in the best position, make sure they're on top of their grades. They got their SATs done and all of that. So, 18 kids in college and 7 from last year, and 5 D1.
Coach Fusatola stresses when I was around him, not only the education part, the brotherhood, the family part, right? As we're going into this, he was the special teams guy more than anything else, and I watched him constantly. You lost your punter, you lost your kicker. Who you got now?
We got both. Kicker? We got both. Our kicker's Darren D'Arcangelo. I had him when he was a freshman. Noticed him right away, and he's worked with Dr. Ray ever since, and he's a pretty darn good kicker.
Yeah,
and he's a pretty darn good kicker. So he's going to do well for us. And then as of right now, Anthony Lantine has been getting the snaps for punts.
Mm-hmm.
Great kid, coachable athlete back there. So we have guys for those spots now.
He says athlete to the punter. Any trickeration coming up this year, perhaps, Coach? No, I didn't think so.
No, I
want
to get the snap and punt first. Yeah, let's do that right first, and then we'll worry about that.
Anybody we missed that's going to really open our eyes starting tomorrow night that we didn't talk about that maybe we should?
Zerby's going to be a tremendous ball player. Keyshawn Turner, obviously. Keyshawn saying Dom Malinsky at center. Another sophomore, has a lot of upside, tremendous work ethic. Jordan Foley is a sophomore. He's going to play linebacker. Mason Brown, linebacker, junior. Keep an eye on Nasir Lane.
Oh, yeah.
Number 1.
Yep.
Okay. Defensive end. Might mix him inside a little bit. You let him loose, look out. All right, you look out. He's tremendous ball player. Just constant motor. Like I haven't seen, a constant motor. So we're going to have a lot of names out there that are unfamiliar, but we're going to open up some eyes.
Okay.
We're going to open up some eyes tomorrow night.
Last question. In the scrimmages you had this year so far, how many have you had?
One
went through. That was
Cherokee. Mm-hmm.
What'd you see?
From our team?
Yes.
I saw a team that was shut down for, a week and a half. I saw a team who was shut down for 2 practices before the scrimmage because of the heat. I saw a team put on practice pants for the first time that night. And with that said, I saw a team that has tremendous promise. Tremendous promise.
I
for
lied.
Sure.
I got another question for you.
Go ahead.
What's your routine starting tomorrow night?
Same routine.
How are you going to get ready for this game?
It's the same Braves pregame. That's not changing. That's not changing.
Yeah.
The itinerary set.
It is.
Off the field, on the field, gather around the rock. It's all there. Same setup. Not changing that.
Ready to go, partner?
I'm ready to go.
Go
Thanks.
Braves.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you
Appreciate
kidding?
it.
You're the man. Tom Kelly is the new head coach of the Williamstown Braves for this season, and you'll see him each and every week right here at Pizza Hut in Glassboro as Williamstown Braves football, exclusively sponsored by the Pizza Hut. Coffee Jones and I will bring you all the action tomorrow night as we enter our 6th season together, Coffee and I doing high school football here in South Jersey. For the coach and for our captains, Keyshawn Watkins and Turner Inge, I'm Chris Lozzi. Thanks for joining us tonight on BFA, and we'll see you kickoff tomorrow night as the Braves host Rancocas Valley and the Tom Kelly era begins on BFA. Good night, everybody.